It seems like the definition of friends and family would be people who have your back no matter what, but sadly, that often isn't true. So today, you'll learn my 3 tips for handling friends and family like a pro, so you can walk away feeling calm and confident and certainly without hurting anybody. I'm Dr. Abby Medcalf, and I put out awesome videos like this every week, so hit that subscribe button and don't forget to like the video, because I know you will. All right, so let's get to it. These are the 3 things to do if your friends or family are unsupportive. And tip number 1 is don't look for their approval. We do this often without even knowing we're doing it. The biggest problem is this: the only person in the whole wide world who needs to approve of what you're doing, you guessed it, is you. When you look to your friends and family to approve of what you're doing, you're setting yourself up. And this really all comes down to your self-esteem and your confidence. And I did a whole video on that, which I'll link to below. But for now, remember, this isn't about them. It's about you. It's about you standing up for yourself and having, again, that self-esteem and that confidence to say what you will and won't stand for, what you need, and really feeling confident in your decision making and not allowing others' negative reactions to sway you. Okay. Tip number 2 is to set them up for success. I want you to start any conversation with what you want. What are you looking to get from this person? How do you want the conversation with them to end? Set them up for success by being clear about what you want before you share. So if it's your dad who's usually negative about money or something like that, it might be, Dad, I'd like us to have a conversation about my work. I know how much you love me and I really value your opinion, but in the past when we've had these conversations, I just haven't felt supported. I know you want to support me, and I know that when I say things you don't like, you get worried, but that comes at me in a really negative way. I am so sure you don't mean it that way, but that's how it feels to me. So I'd like for us to have a conversation about some decisions I've made, and I want to feel your support first. That's it. I'm not looking for you to agree with what I'm telling you, but I'm looking for you to love and support me. And if you have questions about what I'm talking about, please ask, but I'd appreciate you not giving your opinions right now. So there you go. And I'll say this too, as you're having these conversations, you've got to find some compassion for those you love, like your dad. He's scared right now, right? He's scared about the work conversation. Remember, they're doing the best with the tools they have. They might be crappy tools, but this is what they have. And if you have any trouble finding that compassion, finding the love for your friends and family when you're not feeling supported, I'd love for you to give me a shout out below. Give me a little comment below the video. And I will say to you, stay to the end, because I'm going to give you a great way to find that love, to create that love for who you're talking to when it's hard, when you're not finding the compassion in just a minute. So let me just get through tip number 3. And that is to be mindful of what you share. If you have someone in your life who can't seem to be anything but unsupportive, I would ask you to really start thinking about what you're sharing with this person. Why must you share this piece of your life? Or maybe think of how you share things. Maybe send an email where you can say what you want and need instead of speaking in person, where things get heated and you end up feeling hurt. It's really important to think about these things. If you have a mother who pries in your personal life, or a brother who interrogates you about your job, that's about you making boundaries with them. It's not about them having to be perfect in some way. You need to draw your boundaries and have those intact. So, and I'll link actually to a video I did on boundaries below this video. You might want to for sure check out if boundaries are a problem for you. But just because they're interrogating you and asking you something or going after you doesn't mean you have to answer. And again, have those boundaries clear. And I just want to give one last note before I get into how to get that loving kindness. And that is, when family members aren't supportive, I lean towards not sharing certain things with them. If it's a family member, I don't like cutting family members out of your life. It's very hard to do unless they're really, truly toxic, or you just can't keep your boundaries around them no matter what you've tried. But when friends aren't supportive, I think it's a different issue. My big question is, why are these your friends? I can't imagine having unsupportive friends. I've definitely had friends of mine question my choices or, ask me about my thinking, but it's always in a supportive way. I can tell why they're asking. And I don't always like it at first. But generally, I can feel negative in a moment, but I know it's something I truly needed to think about that I was overlooking. So no matter what, to me, you need to feel your friends have your back first. Really look at those relationships and ask yourself some hard questions about why you're keeping these friendships alive if you're continually not getting what you need. And last but not least, I have a loving kindness meditation that I've recorded for you, and you can find the link below this video. And there's a lot of research on loving kindness meditations. I'm not going to go into it here, but they're incredibly helpful. And when you're having trouble finding the love, finding that compassion for friends or family who aren't supportive, this is the perfect thing to take a few minutes of your time to listen to and practice. That's it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I'll talk to you next week.